petitions on the below named bills. 1. A bill for an act to establish the Massaville Township in Tualaken, Biabo, Celebrate District, Liberia County. A bill for an act to create a Henneville City in Keripo, County again, Biabo, Administrative District also, Liberia County. And a bill for an act to create Takekam City in Biabo, Administrative District, also Liberia County. She report from the Senate Committee on Internal Affairs, Governance and Reconciliation, and Judiciary, Human Rights, Bills and Petitions on the below named bills. 1. A bill for an act to create a township, Dawson in B Administrative District, within Grand Bassa County, Republic of Liberia. A bill for an act to create a township district within District 2, Grand Bassa County, Republic of Liberia, and a bill for an act to create a township, in B Administrative District within Grand Bassa County, Republic of Liberia. H. Report for the Joint Community Education and Public Administration and Judiciary, Human Rights, Bills and Petitions on an act to repeal the 2011 Act establishing the Grand Juliet County Community College and established in lieu thereof a Grand Juliet University and Grand Juliet Chapter. 7. Business on President's X. A. Communication from Senator Francis S. Dupo II of Liberia County requesting the inclusion of the FAO representation issued in upcoming committee of the whole year. 8. Business. 9. Adjournment. Madam President Pro Tem and Presiding Officer, distinguished Senators, reading of the proposed agenda for today's sitting.
Distinguished colleagues, you've heard the reading of the agenda for today's sitting. What is our word of pleasure? Senator Zupena.
Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, I move I receive a second that the proposed agenda just read be received and be open for discussion.
It's been moved and seconded that the agenda just read be open for discussion. Ready to vote?
Ready.
All in favor say yea.
Yeah.
Against?
Yeah. Pro Tem.
Any intervention?
Yeah. Pro
Yes,
Tem.
Senator Brenham.
Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues. Asking for dispensation, age should be brought to A, dispensation
So far, it should be brought to 8. All right, we'll go on that. Any other intervention? No other intervention. Motion to adopt the agenda. All in favor say yea. Against? Senator Assembly.
Emmanuel.
Report from standing committees. Report from standing committees. Yeah. Report from the committee, Joint Committee on Education, Public Administration, and Judiciary. Human Rights Case and Petitions on an act to repeal the 2011 Act establishing the Grand Judah Community College and to establish a leader of the Grand Judah University and Grand Judah Chapter.
Would there be that the Senator who will come to a letter later, Senator, the Secretary asked the phone his name? Yeah. It's simply went up and the phone his name. So.
Well, I'll get started for 8.
But yeah, this return A.
It will talk about. Well,
Report from the Joint Committee on Education and Public Administration and Judiciary Human Rights Claims and Petitions on an act to repeal the 2011 Act establishing the Grand Judah Community College and to establish in lieu thereof a Grand Judah University and Grand Judah Chapter. Also, objectives of the university. The Joint Committee also observed the following objectives of the university, amongst others: to create, establish, and implement a core educational institution of higher learning within Grand Judah County, and to grant associates and bachelor degrees in relevant disciplines wherein graduates from accredited secondary schools may pursue tertiary education in NFE learning provided by the Grand Judah University, to provide institutional and learning conditions in all aspects of professional, technical, and vocational education that will effectively contribute to the growth and empowerment of the Grand Judah University, as well as the social economic development of Grand Judah County and Liberia as a whole, to establish, promote, and maintain a center of excellence for where constitutes of all races, classes, creed, gender, and ethnic settings can enjoy equal opportunities of learning, to acquire, establish, and maintain such auxiliaries with associated colleges and institutions and local allocations within the Republic of Liberia as may be decided from time by the Board of Trustees, and to pursue, establish, and maintain affiliation and partnership with institutions and organizations internally and externally for the purpose of enhancing and promoting quality delivery and institutional development within the institution. Recommendation. In light of this, and in accordance with the statutory responsibility of the Joint Committee, coupled with the immense benefit Liberia and Liberians stand to achieve, the Joint Committee unanimously recommends to the plenary of the Senate to concur with the House of Representatives on the passage of self-building title in court and act to repeal the 2011 Act establishing the Grand Judah County Community College and to grant it in lieu thereof a Grand Judah University and grant it a charter on court. So on this 10th day of July 2025 in Joint Committee room, all members of both committees signed the report. Madam Protem,
distinguished colleagues, that was the reading of a report from the Committee on Education for concurrence and act to repeal the 2011 Act establishing the Grand Judah County Community College and to establish in lieu thereof a Grand Judah University and grant it a charter. Motion. Motion by
Thank you. Thank you.
The Honorable President Pro Tempore of the Liberian Senate, distinguished senators, Before I make my motion, I want to particularly thank our two senators from Grand Nigeria County, Senator Zoe Emmanuel Pena, Senator Yaya Nibu, for this wonderful decision to have a county like Grand Nigeria, the only populated county in the southeast,
So is it required for
giving its community college and university status. That will help Tubman University and other community colleges in that region. So with that, I'm so pleased and happy to say a very thank you to the Honorable Senator. With that said, I move, if I can obtain a second, that the bill passed by the House and sent to the Senate for concurrence, which has to do with an act to repeal the 2011 Act establishing the Grand Nigeria Community College and to establish in lieu thereof a Grand Nigeria University and grant it a charter. If I can obtain a second, that we concur with the House of Representatives and said decision be communicated to the President of the Republic of Liberia. If I can obtain a second.
We're going to retain the motion for debate. We're retain the motion for concurrence. Are you ready to vote? All in favor say yea. So you can vote now. So you can vote. The message to the what's all I really want grandchildren anymore? Secretary of the Senate.
Report from the Joint Committee on Youth and Sports, Ways, Means, Finance and Budget, and Judiciary, Human Rights, Claims and Petitions on an act to create a National Sports Fund Authority, Republic of Liberia. Report from the Joint Committee on Youth and Sports, Ways, Means, Finance and Budget, and Judiciary, Human Rights, Claims and Petitions on an act to create a National Sports Fund Authority, Republic of Liberia. Aims and objectives of the National Sports Fund Authority. The Joint Committee also observed the following aims and objectives of the National Sports Fund Authority, amongst others: to improve the development of sports across Liberia by creating a dedicated fund to provide sustainable financial resources for the growth of football and other sports disciplines, to ensure transparency and accountability in the management of funds for sports development, to promote and establish a national sports fund to be funded through levies, budgetary subsidies, and other sources as set forth herein, and to promote cooperation with international sport agencies and development partners, and facilitate collaboration between training providers and industries to generate demand-driven curriculum development and placement and national internship programs. Recommendation: in light of this and in accordance with statutory responsibility of the Joint Committee, coupled with the immense benefit Liberia and Liberians stand to achieve, and considering the importance of the bill, you stand to inquire. The Joint Committee unanimously recommends to the plenary of the Senate on the passage of said bill entitled An Act to Create a National Sports Fund Authority, Republic of Liberia, signed by majority members of the Joint Committee. Madam President, Madam Voter.
knows defense sports?
The distinguished colleagues, we heard the reading of the report from the Committee on Youth and Sports, Ways, Means and Finance, Judiciary, on an act to create a national sports fund authority. Republic of Liberia. That was the report. What is your will and pleasure? No motion for the report.
No, hold on.
Okay. Senator Taylor.
Who's that?
The Senate for having listened to the reading of the report from the Joint Committee on Youth and Sports, Ways, Means and Finance, and Judiciary on an act to create the National Sports Fund Authority, Republic of Liberia, and our national support to sports being very important. I move that this report be received, accepted, and open for debate.
We've already stated that. Was it seconded?
No, that's not that.
Number one debate.
We got one pass it.
But you don't have concurrence. You can't file a report without you paying.
You're not concurrent? The law making
It's a serious report. There's a good bill. Yeah, there's a good bill, so you know.
So don't look at it.
But this is the second motion.
Yeah?
This is the third reading.
Second motion, with all that, the second motion and the who did the bill, the proponent, how you call them,
I said a summary.
will say something. Without clear, are you ready to vote?
Ready.
All in favor say yea, against. So let's listen to Senator Soper first.
Thank you, Madam President, and clerk, please. So the everyday song has been sung every time we come for our national engagement regarding sports. The same song is being repeated again to say there is no money, no fun. There's no form syndrome, and then our national team will wear this today on the FIFA ranking table. And so we thought it was important to not only look at the budget, but to create a certain way of gaining funds through the National Sports Fund Authority to be able to support our national teams in asset teams. So our national RBT soccer team went to Turkey, and some of them had to be thrown out of the hotel, some of them were some escaped, but the key issue there was that we borrowed money from people in order to let people travel because Liberia had to play. The Liberia national team was just here at the Colony Hotel, and we heard the president of LFA, Mr. Musa Karaji, who said that the players had to be, they had to remove the players' stipend because our country doesn't have money. And I understand why some of these low money syndrome is reigning amongst our sporting activities. It's mostly because every sector in Liberia is a priority. So you can't take money from education to put it to sports, or take it from health to put it to sports. And so we thought by creating this fund, sport can generate its own money from anti-sports consumables, cigarettes, drinking liquor, and other things. By contributing to this fund, we'll be able to support our team. We are also proposing that there will be 4 initial stadiums that will be built to support our county meet effort. Since 1956, county meet has not yet been constructed one stadium in our country. But it's played every year. It brings us joy. So we want to put some of these things in place. It will be constructed in every county, but we are beginning with the first 4. That's River G, for obvious reason. Then who will be first? As Ambassador comes in, what you ready hear me? What you ready hear me? I said River G, Ambassador, for me, and Bon counties. Those will be the first sports stadium constructed in this country is created. And our initial calculation tells us that this first one will create $12 million every year. That will be enough to construct for these stadiums to allow us to participate in the competition mostly. Not only the SJP every time we can, our young people can develop their skills moving forward, and we can eventually develop our national team. That is the reason for the creation of the act.
What will we take the money from? Let me calculate.
I just said it.
Yeah.
Anti-sports consumables.
Yeah, like.
Beer, cigarettes, and all consumables.
See how those are on.
That's it. Shit out. So that's what it is. But it's actually a serious thing. It will eliminate this whole no money syndrome. It will create a whole money.
Okay. First opening for debate. It was circulated. If you read these reports to that complaint, it was circulated as a plan. Yeah, Senator Tupu.
I come from the point where I believe that this is something that we should do. It's something that we should do because we are talking about improving intensive tourism. And sports come from a background where they find intensive tourism for the most part. And that having the Ministry of Youth and Sports that is more like from a policy giving institution that will be towards on employment and other things. Having a football association that is responsible for football, they are four different institutions and they are sport related. So we believe that as a country, if we have a centralized institution that is there to identify sources of income to support sports, and also to regulate and monitor the use of that income, I think we will very strengthen our sporting activity. Mind you, what is true that sport is a leisure, but it's a money-making thing, and we believe that as a country we can have a very good return in sport tourism. So I do support this bill, and I believe that as a country we should take it serious. Yes, indeed, when people assemble to play sport, they consume alcohol. So alcohol is accessible. The next time they have externality, so nothing wrong for us to tap on that. The same with cigarette is an externality, nothing wrong for us to tap on that. Obviously, in those areas, we can be able to enter to the extent that we have come to me, okay, and we are struggling to have funding. I know there are times when we gave contract to people to bring t-shirts in the name of River G County. And River G County does not even have a recipe on that. The same with Grand Bachelor and other counties, people bring t-shirts in the county, a very big event in this country. We wouldn't look like the income that is generated by the gate intake. But actually, the country actually raised a lot of money and still with the economy. And I'm a witness to that when River G County carried the cup, where we defeated one county or Grand Bachelor County. And for the outset that we was our country, I mean, drawing attention at the same time, it's still with our economy. So yes, we do have an institution that will be able to track and give meaningful feedback and we come to improve our level of employment in this sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny. Senator Flora, followed by Senator Jana.
Sports is an instrument of peace. Sports is an instrument of unity. The need to find funding to support sports cannot be overemphasized. You know, yesterday we were talking about adding fasting to petroleum products. If I would be happy if we just say on our fasting on Tuesday we want to add there.
Thank you. Would that be clear on the record that there was no argument to have faster on petroleum products.
He said, for example.
But he gave you an example for something that was not done.
No, the Sunday yesterday.
Was not discussed. We were not discussing to have faster on petroleum products. We were following the debate. Yeah, because it
wasn't a Senate decision. Yeah,
it was not a Senate decision. It was not a Senate discussion. The discussion.
Yeah. You can make up if you want to make up the conversation. Yeah.
Okay. Besides adding money on cigarette and alcoholic beverages, I would suggest that every Nigerian will be happy if they were told that on petroleum product we are adding 2 cents there to. We are adding 2 cents to petroleum product get us supposed post. I think every Nigerian will be happy. In the nook and corner of Liberia, anywhere you go, any village you go in, when you have to do a sports, everybody there is happy. So everybody will be prepared to go to the sports. We cannot have our teams going out of country and they are in hotel, they are thrown up. We need to propose sports. We need to do everything in this bill. Is welcomed by the sports committee. We tell
The chairman.
yeah, we tell the Honorable Boja, thank you, thank you for this bill, because this bill will enhance sports in Liberia as of late.
Thank you, Senator John. Father Senator Simeon Taylor.
Thank you, Putin.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank the philosopher who tells the proponents of this act, the bill, a legendary sport of the alleys of our time. You don't even know what between me and Lambert, and he doesn't even know. I know what between us. Alright, Madam President, thank you for the policy. We take it and move accordingly. You know, when I was in school, I was doing an assignment. I was doing an assignment in
Where you from?
I had an assignment in physical education. I had to write the sports. The high deficiency that always moved over to school, they didn't even have a system in place. That from there, and to see an act for authority, indeed, it is daybreak. So, I was in flight.
I thought that I wanted to.
The good job done by our colleague will go a very long way in applying the positive side of sports. And I don't want people to rely on those little taxation, but the portion that deals with funding should be expanded to allow the authority to deal with other international factors in their fundraising, so that money can be there to develop those sporting activities and events in a way and manner that will be very systematic and formal. Donors, international sporting institutions, scholarship, everything can be under the authority to expand and develop the institution of sports and its accomplices that will be utilized in the process. And so I'm for the bill, I support it, and I wish we had passed it like yesterday. I thank you.
What do you say between me and you?
I will thank you. I will thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Vice President and the Pro Tem. I want to extend my appreciation to Senator Sidwood for inviting this bill. My own concern has to do with the Ministry of Youth and Sport has highlighted other areas of importance to stadium, and which happen to be, my country happen to be one of the beneficiaries of that. In Latvia, they secured the land, and I saw him not including that into the bill, where the Ministry of Youth and Sport has decided to build a sports stadium in Latvia. I would like to say to him that that should be inclusive everywhere. I like that. In the first place for a sports stadium should be inclusive and go into the bill for the construction of that of those stadiums. And that's my own contribution. That should be all right,
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues. I want to thank the committee and the proponent of the bill. Sport is very important, even as we continuously advocate to fight against drug usage among the young people. We all know that idle mind is the devil's workshop. So with support to sport, the young people will be engaged into sporting activities that they know that they will be funded adequately. However, I want to agree with my colleague, keep on one. And in a way, I would like to propose that the initial stadium be built according to region. Correct. So that each region of this country can have one, instead of concentrating on one side of the country. Having said that, I want to say thank you to the proponent, and then I will thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate. Madam President, distinguished colleagues, we support this bill, but we wanted to make a declaration. The source of funding for the sports authority is not suggesting additional taxation on the goods or the products that are named or mentioned. It is not additional taxation on cigarette or alcoholic beverages.
It is.
It is not additional as far as my understanding is. What we're doing is, if the government is already taxing 5 cents on a bottle of beer, for instance, this law is seeking that 5 cents, government use 1 cent for it to support the fund, the authority. If that's my understanding, the property is here. It is not intended for additional taxation.
Mr. Chairman.
So let's get it clear.
You want to play that?
So, Mr. President of the Senate and fellow colleagues, we are suggesting that only anti-sporting goods, consumable, will be taxed 1%.
Additional 1%.
Yes, additional. So one percent.
Il faut se dire. So if it is from what we are now understanding clear, that it is additional taxation, as much as we support it though, we need to thoroughly look at it as a Senate. No, you must be there. Before we pass it.
So it's additional tax?
If it is additional taxation, we have to thoroughly look at it. If our understanding has been that what is already taxed, that 1 cent is taken from the 5 cents that is already taxed to go to the fund to support sports. I'm in for it right now. Because, in fact, sport development in our country is something that has been done for a long time. The President, the Senate, distinguished colleagues. Even the content media district is not used for sport development. It's used for fun. It's used for political show. I don't remember the last time a talent was recruited. Those days, content media was intended to recruit talent. And without signing political, you cannot recruit talent when the content media, for instance, is more political now. And under the last regime, even the talent were trying to recruit could not even win most valuable player because the president Liberia was winning the content media most valuable player. How you going to recruit for that? So it's being used for political too and all of that. Today, the LFA is posting district league. The LFA is posting district league. And that's just saying, every content media, it's just that everything we do, we put it on camera. Content media in the context of waiting for lawmakers. Content media is of waiting for lawmakers to the extent sometimes. When a big power comes inside, we can be happy because that. We don't want to see the thing because the Ministry of Youth and Sports, they tell us that academy against it. And leave it. The content meet is funded largely by non-members individual pockets. In fact, some people think that if you are a resident of the county, don't you go near the county team if you look like you got ambition to run. Because when you use the county meet all for political recognition and all that thing, instead of the county meet being used for reconciliation and the sporting of talent to develop our sports and grow our sports league, today the district league, my colleagues in the county, they are crying because if you contribute, you are bad lawmaker. If you contribute, you corrupt. We don't know what to do. So let the government devise good means by this wisdom of our police and the general service. For us to put it into proper perspective. And when we talk about sports, we are not just talking about football. We're talking about all sports so that we can find means, just how we created a fund to do road development. Let's do a fund dedicated to finding means to generate money for sports. Then they bring the sports program that will develop our sports fund talents so that when there's content meet, we know they're funding. That sport fund can also help to develop the league. It can also give some subsidy to some clubs. It can take the burden of us to know that Lone Star basketball team is going somewhere, amputee team is going somewhere, preparation, training, and all that thing. So, Senator Silver, this is a good bill, and we appreciate you for that. The taxation aspect or the source of funding need to be, we know that. Thank you.
It shows that you play support for them.
So when we need to call me big player. The president income also in a league, and you know why you go through it.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate. Let me join previous speakers to commend Senator Assembly and all those who participated in crafting and submitting this all-important bill to the Senate. As everyone has said, yes, it is a good bill, and we should all embrace and support it. Albeit, the sources of funding, the areas of taxation, on the basis of my engagement with the tax authorities over the years, the two areas mentioned are not good areas to tax, to impose an additional tax: alcohol and cigarettes. Currently, these goods are being smuggled in the country from neighboring countries because our taxes are very high. So people are evading the payment of taxes on alcohol and cigarettes by going through our neighboring countries to import these goods on our Liberian market. So imposing additional tax or taxes will be a good idea. Since we have a discovery before us that we are still having a conversation about the petroleum sector, we will also look there and maybe perhaps other areas. So I'd like to concur with Senator Dillon that let's take a little bit more look at this in terms of the funding aspect, but overall it's a good bill. Thank you.
Senator Philip.
No, I put my hand up.
Don't know your hand up. You were talking to me, Aaron.
Senator Koga. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President of the Senate, please, for the bill is good, and the issue of imposition of tax to enhance the effectuation of that bill is what we're all looking at. As my colleagues were saying, that the issue of cigarette and alcoholic beverage is not the right place. I think that is the right place. Because alcoholic beverage and cigarette are luxury. Cigar as well. They are luxury.
Why you doing cigar?
Because if we impose additional tax on soap, the citizen will complain. If we local barbecue and impose additional tax, the citizen will complain. Liquor is at the will and pleasure of whosoever I want to live in this one's life. So I think that is a good suitable place. The issue of smuggling, we only need to go measure in place the LRA, and those are supposed to manage the security at the border should be informed of the fiduciary responsibility. So for this reason, I think the issue of imposition of tax on alcoholic beverage and cigarettes as well as cigars, as Dogo said, will be necessary. That's the only way this technical bill we can pass it and pass it. So it is my appeal to our colleagues that development doesn't come easily. If you went to Nigeria, when they say they are international march, sometimes the Nigerian will decide to go to Calabash.
Calabar is already prepared because they decided that there will be situation tomorrow that they will have African population homestead in Nigeria. And there are a lot of people in the conference on Abuja. Eventually the hotels and other places will be filled. So in order to decentralize the sports, to motivate the youth that also coming on, you can extend it. So I believe that the regional aspect Makuli from Kiman to spoke about is also necessary. You will have one if in Banga, hypothetically, you will have one in Grandier or Rivergene, the Southeastern. You will have one in Bukan, you will have one in Kema or any other ideal area in our region. I think they will start to reason, and Mr. Presiding, sports have become one of the source of income. Universal-wide. The European, the usual players that is selling commercial goods. People, as soon as their years is over, another one is established, immediately they're going to him and people are making money. So I believe we're not saying no assets are prepared for us. We forget the imposition of that and now look at the talent and generate funding from professional players that will be hired from Liberia to go outside of the country that will be able to be a better source of income for the country. So I think that this bill, we should not look at it critically and say we should wait until we do a lot of consultation before we pass it. It's necessary that we encourage our colleagues that have brought this kind of a bill that will even erode the mind of the youth that involved in drug taking. When people are telling me, we don't want all eradicate some of these things. The youth their mind will be focused on the sporting activities, and they can not only soccer alone, the basketball, volleyball, and etc. So it is my appeal, looking at the bill, that we see reason to pass it. Thank you, that's my contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, pro tem and distinguished senators. Thanks to Senator Simwood for this unique legislation. And when we agree with Senator Simwood, I think it will be one of the Lone Star players, former players, that are trying very hard to ensure that we have sport pitch in at least a region.
It's a long one.
And if you don't leave anything with us to remember him, I think the sponsorship of this bill and the passage thereof going to be a legacy that Senator Sibwe and all the others will leave of us as admirers of them those days. We then miss out on a very big one. And I think the one from the Senate now can be something that we can rely on. I want to agree with Senator DeLong for the fact that we already have existing taxes on these anti-sport commodities. And given the importance of this piece of legislation, we've tried to address the one on road. One upon a time, Senator Barney tried to introduce one to address the health sector and teachers in rural communities that are taking assignment so that a sin tax could be imposed on the sin commodities. It didn't work, and thankfully, the support of the government are seeing the gradual improvement in the wages and salaries of those in that very sector. Senator Barney, I want to say also thank you. We can pass a bill and ensure that the existing taxes on these commodities, 1%, be collected. And also Johnson and Nukwe in cleaning up in their other areas. Because sport is a unifying force. Sport is something that all of us have tried to support. But we can't just do it alone. The development has to be holistic. So by setting aside 1% on the existing tax, we're not going to amend the revenue code any longer. We just say 1% of what is being collected on those anti-sport goods should be collected and placed into that special account to get this dream actual. It's something that we can't miss out on it. I'm 100% support. As a member of the joint committee, I think this is the best thing that any former players will remember in recent time will do for the country. Thank you, Honorable Civil, for this, and we support you. And including the law.
Yeah, I already agree with that.
Thank you. Political sports.
No.
Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senators, I rise today in support of this bill, but I have a little issue now. I have a little issue with the bill. It's a good bill. But to have in the bill that, certain goods are anti-sports, I think we will have to look at that phrase and rephrase it. If you limit it to anti-sport, first of all, I got issue with the whole nomenclature of anti-sports goods. We should reword it, and it will also extend and expand the window of opportunity for support. I've always said maybe we'll be lucky one day we'll discover oil and other things that we have. We're about to do a mineral survey or survey our mineral. We could discover some stuff, and the mining industry will expand, so you can never tell. So that's the only thing problem I have with the bill, and also support the points of Senator Dillon and Senator Ngoyi, stressed by Senator Nukwe. We can't keep taxing our people. High taxation leads to low collection. Definitely. I think in Liberia right now we are almost at our peak. We are now thinking about other bills that Senator Dopo and I have co-sponsored to think about how we can change our tax bracket to give a breathing space to people, so we can't keep adding taxes. No matter how luxurious they may sound to us, there are people who definitely only go and some of the commodities we're talking about. And generally it affects their consumer food basket because it's part of their daily assumptions and consumptions as well. So I was thank you, Mr. President.
No, let me just close on that. The only issue is the procedure when you're dealing with high people tax. It's a bill that is supported, so maybe the Ways, Means and Finance can look at that, or you can either twist the bill to say taxes that are already collected if you wanted to enforce them. If you agree that that is the motive, then we can vote the bill today. Or if we have
Yes.
Yeah, so if you can make that amendment to say that taxes that are already collected, then maybe it will make sense to have a vote on it.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Speaker Lucas.
But in that regard, you need to have a conversation with the tax authority to know how these taxes are being directed, whether which sphere of the economy they are impacting. But if you take a decision now to say taxes that are being collected on alcohol and cigarettes that are being directed towards healthcare, towards education, let's remove portion of them to go to schools. How do we compensate for the gap that we are creating? I don't think we should rush with this bill. Let's take our time and also have a conversation with the revenue authority and see how we can be well informed when we take the final decision.
While sitting.
Yeah, no.
While sitting.
The bank protested banking and not banking. The president said that banking.
Well, you get started.
Yeah, but I don't know. So, Mr. Vice President, let's not prolong or delay this thing. We can pass the bill with the amendment that we remove and we put aside the whole tax bracket and discuss it later to include to fix one of those things. I think that works.
Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, that is the essence of the bill. Yes. So you can, it's the funding. If you put that out, then you have nothing. So I would suggest, like Senator Lupe have said, that we take a look with the revenue issue. We don't know what. Yeah. We need to look at that. I don't think we say rush it and then we make a mistake and error. But I think the big issue is the revenue portion and the funding portion.
Something contract and the one?
What is contrary is that it is not a strange thing to establish a fund and the authority, and then that authority or exams, the even taxation. You are talking for the road fund. The road fund established 2016, and then the levy was placed in the budget around 2018.
So we should take that part of that.
Yeah, before we identify the various areas of the tax and
then I mean, you gotta come back to the
yeah, that's what he did. He did what he wrote for. He established the road fund. And then they went back. Yeah.
Okay, now why you suggested? Now why you suggested?
Let's talk for one bill. I want you to yeah,
So you put that?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
So while on my feet, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senator, having listened to the reading and the debate surrounding this very important bill regarding the young people in Liberia, I move to obtain a second that the bill having been discussed with the amendment that the portion in relation to the specific tax be removed and that the authority will form develop a tax relevant portion and come back to the legislature for passage. So I obtain a second that this reading constitute the third and the Senate take a vote.
I second the motion. What is new in the bill? You're not even voting with you.
Is it?
No, you didn't.
I said it.
They move and second that this bill constitutes a third reading, right?
Yeah.
The final. And around it.
For persons to be engrossed to the house.
Are you ready to vote?
Amendment.
Those in favor say
Yeah.
Are you here, Lord?
It can be low or high, but I hear.
Report from standing committees.
Report from the Joint Committee on Agriculture and Banking and Currency on the Agricultural Enterprise Development Plan. The Agricultural Enterprise Development Bank Act marks a significant step towards transforming the agricultural landscape and fostering economic growth in rural areas. With agriculture being the backbone of national economy, the establishment of the Agricultural Enterprise Development Bank, the AEDB, will address long-standing challenges, particularly in the area of financing for farmers, agricultural cooperatives, and agro-businesses. This report provides a summary of key provisions of the Act, its potential impact, and the committee's recommendations for the Senate's consideration. Agriculture is vital to the nation's economy, contributing significantly to employment, food security, and export revenues. On the contrary, this sector faces persistent barriers to growth, primarily related to limited access to affordable and appropriate financing services. Smallholder farmers and rural entrepreneurs in particular have struggled to obtain credit and other financial resources necessary to scale their operations and improve productivity. In response to these challenges, the Agricultural Enterprise Development Bank Act was introduced to create a specialized financial institution and provide tailored financial products to the agricultural sector. By improving access to credit, the AEDB aims to boost agricultural output, promote rural development, and enhance food security. The Act will also support initiatives aimed at modernizing farming practices, integrating smallholder farmers into a formal financial system, and improve the resilience of the agricultural sector to external shocks. Key provisions of the Agricultural Enterprise Development Bank Act. The AEDB will offer a wide range of affordable financial products such as long-term loans, micro loans, and insurance solutions to farmers, cooperatives, and agribusinesses. The Act's objectives include promoting sustainable agriculture, improving financial inclusion, and fostering economic growth in rural areas. Financial products and services, long-term financing for large-scale agricultural infrastructure, for example, irrigation and mechanization. Short-term loans for seasonal activities, example, seeds, fertilizers, labor. Micro loan designed for smallholder farmers and rural entrepreneurs. Risk mitigation products such as crop and weather index insurance. Recommendations. The Joint Committee on Banking and Currency and Agriculture offers the following concise recommendations to ensure the successful passage of the Agricultural Enterprise Development Bank Act into law. 1. Ensure committee support for the Act to foster national unity in advancing agricultural development. 2. Establish strong governance and transparent oversight mechanisms to maintain the integrity of the AEDB. 3. Prioritize financial sustainability, ensuring that the AEDB becomes self-sufficient while still serving in developmental mandates. 4. Support climate resilience initiatives to ensure long-term agricultural sustainability amid changing weather patterns. 5. Empower women and youth by promoting targeted financial products and training opportunities for these groups in agriculture. Zoning Committee done this 9 p.m. July 2025 Joint Committee room for both committees. Majority members signed the report. Mr. President of the Senate and presiding officer, the distinguished senators, the reading of a report from the committees on agriculture and banking and currency.
The report from the Committee on Agriculture, Forestry, Fishery, Banking and Currency. What's the will pleasure? Go ahead.
I would want to pick the lead. Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished voting President. President, if I can, in a second, I move that this report be open for discussion.
If we move and second that report from the Committee on Agriculture and Banking be open for discussion. Are you ready to vote?
Yes.
Those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Against? Who's ready?
Well, it's two. That's between the agriculture and the judiciary. Chairman isn't here, and so I co-chair that committee, so I would take the lead, Mr. President, Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues. My understanding is supposed to be doing a briefing on this initiative, but the objective of the bank is to improve the lives of people in the rural areas. Out of the 5.2 million persons living in Liberia, more than 70% of the population lives in the rural areas. They are farmers. They live off the land. And agriculture has always been a challenge for our people. The opportunity and access to funding and financing has always been a problem since the former bank collapse. Rural dwellers do not have access to funding. This bank would create the opportunity for rural dwellers, for farmers, small farmers, as well as medium-sized farmers, as well as large-scale farmers, to be able to get access to funding, which means that we'll be able to grow more pepper. We won't be importing pepper from Guinea. We won't be importing pepper from a bit of ore from Guinea. We won't be importing okra from Guinea. We will be able to produce, our farmers, our rural people will be able to produce more produce, which means their life and the lives of their children will improve. They will have access to funds and long-term funding. Because you see, the problem is, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, those of you who are farmers understand that the cost of doing business, farming, is the real problem why we have so small production of Liberian farmers. They can only afford to probably produce 1 acre when they can produce 10, 15 acres of crops. So we support this bill, this initiative, because it will improve the lives of our people in the interior. Agriculture in other countries are basically subsidized, heavily subsidized. European countries subsidize the agricultural sector. The great United States subsidize. Asians subsidize. And to be able to feed our nation, we have to be able to give our rural dwellers an opportunity to be able to raise the necessary funds, or access the necessary funds that will increase the yield and production of both cash crops and tree crops. So the report is clear that with this bank, even your value chain can be improved. The cooperatives now can decide that they want to grow rice. And because they have a cooperative, they can grow 1,000 acres, and then you can have companies coming in to set up nails. So we may not have to import rice going forward. We can produce our own rice, which means the hard currency will improve in our country. Tree crops, we can grow more palm oil, we can grow more coffee, we can grow more cocoa and rubber. In addition to that, we can start to look at other crops that are not grown in Liberia. Cashew nut, for example, fruits, mangoes, oranges. This is where we're going. And this is why we support this bank. It's a new thing, it's a new idea, it's a new concept, but it's something that we need in Liberia. Mr. President, my pro-tem distinguished colleague, I will stop here and give my colleague from the judiciary to take on from where.
Sir, can I just okay, so that you can clear up. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I listened to Senator Finley when he very much articulated some of the issues in the bill and indicated that it's a new concept, it's a new idea, which is laudable. And as someone who grew up in the agricultural sector and who is living in the agricultural sector, I also support such a laudable idea. But I am a bit concerned, and that's why I play with Java to speak so that you can clear some of my concerns. We have in here, in this bill, Section 6, talking about funding. I'd like to know what is Section 6 funds and financial structure of the bank. I'd like to read that. Paragraph 1, the funds of the bank shall consist of the share capital of the bank, amounts which may be borrowed by the bank for purposes of its business, and amounts accruing in the course of its operations, annual allocations from the government, either from the development budget or through some other special measures, blah, 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 and it goes on. So I like to get some clarity on the funding of the bank. Maybe Senator Jara worked at Central Bank before, and he can also speak to this. I think the initial capitalization amount should be around $15 million or so. So how are we going to get this initial amount to capitalize this new bank? That's my concern.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Finley was correct when he said that this bank carries will pay no liability. It's a new bank. The government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, will have a transition team in place when the act is passed to work out the funding arrangement. They already got some indication of funding. They have given a complete assurance that it will be done. So that's why it is a government. It's in a way a government bank from the beginning. It's a government bank. They are providing the initial capital. The central bank is completely on board. They have commented on this legislation, declare those things that were prudential, that will lead to prudential events, and also the fit and proper arrangement. The central bank is fully connected with it. They have gone through the legislation. The agriculture ministry has arranged funding. They're just waiting for us to pass this legislation. So we have they are waiting commitment on this. So trade information is classified information. Please permit me. Trade data or trade information are kept in certain way. They are released in certain way.
Yeah, but it's a government bank. It's a government bank.
Yeah, we'll come. Yeah, the government will come to you for review. When you pass in the agriculture bank, you know, what I'm going to tell you is that you want to get into the nitty-gritty of operation. The policy level here is.
This government bank. This government bank. It's our bank.
Yes, it's going to be raised to stock shares. From this bill, you will see that you have to raise the capital to stocks. Yeah, initial.
So going to buy the stock?
Yeah. That from you have that.
No, he said government bank.
Yeah, it is a government bank.
So where would the money come from to buy it?
You have it's a PPP arrangement. Yeah, it's a no. It is a PPP. No, but government has shares. And government won't be very shares.
That's not money coming in the bank. We borrow the money that we take to the right now. We borrow 100
There will not be donor money because donor money is specified if it's a facility. And in this case, is that the bank, the interest of this bank in terms of raising its capital has to be done through special arrangement.
No, but good, the bank good so that you don't manage the money the way you're getting the free.
No. If you have to, this is why we say it's a banking process that will give you have to have some sort of collateral. It's not free money to the farmers. If the president has to look at that one.
But you're bad. The president is going to
there are two separate things. A banking facility and a loan facility from the World Bank are two separate things.
So who keeps the money?
It's an entity. The bank is going to be an entity.
So borrow money.
Like the investment bank that we have, LBDI. LBDI is the investment bank. The shares are, you have shareholders in that bank. The Liberian government holds the majority share. You have a company that is German. You have a Luxembourg shareholder, company from Luxembourg. So it's an investment bank. It's the same concept.
I don't know that. Why do you look at it?
Police, I think this
wait. Don't be like
it should be that conversation.
So send a battle back and through. My name will be you want coming other battle back. Okay.
Don't be like
Thank you, thank you, police. I think actually most senators like me agree that it's me or hope to have a big specific responsible to support our farmers. But the concern people raising, and some of us are raising, is if there is a government entity that we are to enact into law, created, we must know the sources, where the funding are coming from, how will it be supported? Because you can't just create a bank and it doesn't have a permanent source of support. So we need to know. Besides that, I have not really been convinced there was an agriculture development bank that was here, that went payroll, has its liability that was owned by the government. We are creating another agriculture bank. How's about that bank? How about the people that bank is indebted to? What do we do? So is it a replacement of that bank, or what is it? I need to really understand.
What are you looking for?
For that concern, you have to die again.
This bank has no connection with the defunct agriculture bank. The defunct agriculture bank depositor have been paid off almost 10 years ago. Okay? All depositors were paid off. Or in the papers, or on the radio. This is starting afresh. That's what they call it enterprise bank, instant agriculture development bank. It's different, it's separate and distinct. And beside that, the minimum requirement for a bank here is 10 million. Separate bank has that regulation. They will deal with that detail, that due diligence. The fit, qualified, and proper test. We'll go through that.
So the source you understand?
Mr. President,
You don't have the floor now, so I inquiry.
It is a PPC process. Who are those? The President of the Senate, police. The government aim is to promote agriculture. And I think the bank will be good for the farmers. In the past, they had selective justice, wherein they gave the money to who they want to give the money to. But this time around, you will go to the bank, you get your loan with collateral. I think the money will be useful. So we need to promote this bank and sign to it as Senate. It's very important to us with the agriculturists in this country. And again, as we have been crying for the elephants, when the farmer gets money, they will try to protect their crops from the elephants. So I'm encouraging my colleagues to see how best to pass on this bill to promote agriculture in this country. As the president is crying for that, we too need to support him. Where the source of money, sometimes you can ask questions until you can see results. All we want is to promote the farmers to see how best agriculture can boom in this country. Thank you.
The President. The President. I saw you were on the way to do my time. The President.
And you wanted to come and get a double,
Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished Senator. I would love to support this bill. I would love to support this bill, but I will be doing injustice. I will be passing a bill at a time a bill of power myself. This bill, as it is, suggests that we are past the bill around 1940 or 1960. We are in 2025 in Mauritania. We have a couple of issues in this country, and we are making law of agriculture, law on banking, and we are not considering a couple of issues. Yes, indeed, it is good. When we pass the bill, they will get loan. But they can systemic weakness in the bill. And that is why I'm saying, yes, we can pass it. But I think we should discuss it. Let the public know exactly what in it. Let the Senate know exactly what is the issue. For example, in this morning time, you are discussing bank. There is no structural issue in it to address the issue of gender and youth. There is no structural issue to address the issue of
common resilience. They're not there in the bill. We're talking about agriculture. We're talking about taking bank loan, other things. We're talking about the issue of carbon credit. Is that addressing it in our bill? What do we benefit from it? Secondly, the issue of governance, the structural issue. They're not addressed. I read the bill, the whole bill, Senator has it, section by section. And that's what I'm saying. If you are giving to us from the beginning, this bill is being treated like a demon god. Is that the public know that? That I will not support it, but it's wrong. This bill is not going through public hearing. It is a thing we are creating for this country. Those are the issues I'm talking about.
We are not passing, we said we are briefing.
But we cannot be discussing that on report. Let's not brief yourself report.
No.
We need a document.
Did you hear my statement?
No, it's a report. How can you brief on a bill that has been read to the people all this? Go to the committee room and discuss, and you don't give a briefing when being read. And go to the rules, and you go to the committee, you know, discuss the hearing. We are creating a bill. We are creating a bill. It is wrong. That's a point.
So what is the issue? If you send a double red, it's coming up, let's call it the thing up. Let's go back to the committee. Let's go back to the committee for a public hearing. Yeah. So you don't need to follow discuss here.
Why did they say that?
Yeah, please. Colleagues, I think we need a public hearing on this bill. It's very important. I think the idea is good, but we'll try to run the bill.
So what was
So I tell you how to do it.
So I will wait. What do you say now? Mr. President? Thank you. Mr. President, we want to take note of the Mr. President, now we're trying to Senator, those who have made a comment who all agree with that, and the procedure is a procedure issue.
However, you can have the floor. I've been recognized and I've been saying thank you, Mr. President, but I'd like to yield to my colleague because we all agree that we need to relook at this very important bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you.
What do you want to say again? You back the bill.
Mr. President, let me just move on and thank you all, my distinguished colleagues, with the reflection of the senator, the gentleman from River G, and the rest of our colleagues. We will, like we said, it was a briefing, but we'll take this bill back and we'll follow the procedure because procedurally there was a misstep in the procedure of this bill, and therefore we'll correct that procedure and revert back to the Senate. Thank you.
Okay.
Who fighting? Like you lose more than Nima can they fight me? You hear me talking? I told the Coca.
I support you.
International Development and Republic of Liberia.
Yeah, why not?
It's a briefing.
It's a passage, it's a report. The OPEC there, and the report.
Yeah.
Concurrence reports of the Joint Senate Committee on Ways, Means, Finance and Budgets and Transport on Import, Monorail Road Development and Transport Facilitation Projects. Across section, loan agreement, ratification between the OPEC Fund for International Development and the Republic of Liberia. Whereas the African Development Bank and the African Development Fund have supported Liberia's post-war recovery through various financing agreements, and these efforts have supported growth across various sectors of the country and have propelled the country's economy. The bank and the fund remain committed to the development of Liberia through various interventions for their resource development. Whereas the OPEC fund agreement agrees to lend to the Republic of Liberia and the borrower agrees to borrow from the OPEC fund the loan in the amount of $20 million on the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement for the purpose of creating road infrastructure by rehabilitating the 48.5 kilometer road connecting John David Town to Sweater, including upgrading the current gravel road as started cost concrete and increasing regional train facilitation by increasing the volume of goods traded across the border. Whereas the project seeks to integrate support to local communities through the construction of market facilities that boreholes in the project areas and empower farmers and small and medium enterprises in the project area to better engage in commercial activities and deploy climate smart agricultural practices and manage projects to finance social economic activities, conduct technical and road safety audits, provide institutional support and professional training for sector engineers and project implementation units, procure equipment for implementing agencies, and support the functioning of the Joint Technical Committee recommendation. In view of the foregoing and considering the purpose and predetermine outcomes of the loan agreement, the Joint Committee on Ways, Means, Finance and Budget and Transport recommends that the plenary concur with the House of Representatives for ratification of the agreement to give full force and effect the provisions as contained therein. Joint Committee room and submitted on the 23rd day of July 18, 2025 for the Committee on Ways and Means. Majority members signed the report as well as the Committee on Transport. Mr. President of the Senate and presiding officer, the reading of the report from the Joint Committee room, Ways and Means.
Reading up from the Committee, President, Fund and Budget, Monorail Road Development and Transport Facilitation Projects, Pastor William Pleasure, Senator McGill.
Having listened to the report, I'm more that if I can obtain a second that the report should be open for debate.
I mean, like, you want to see it, what number you? You don't want to let
The first thing is a chair. There's an issue. I read the issue with Senator Moe. It's a report for concurrent. We asked that the report should be shared, the document, the financing should be shared so we can understand the terms and conditions of the financing. You know what you just told me this, you just told me 2 years ago, they already have offices. They are already made a report. But even the current report has been made, we don't know what is in the report.
Thank you. You cannot debate a briefing. I cannot carry this.
But it's not a report.
It's a report.
What am I get right?
We got to debate the report.
In a briefing, you can debate briefing, but in a report, I'm going to debate. Decide to debate it or not.
Mr. President,
it has been established by the rule that even confirmation reports should be debated.
Did I hear a second from Miguel?
Yes.
If you move a second, that the report be open for debate. Are you ready to vote?
Ready.
Those if you want to say yeah? Again? I'm not making sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senators, there is a financing agreement on OPEC. And as you may be aware, the corridor from John Davis Town to Israel want to be fully paid. And it's a major corridor that this fund going to address. And as it has always been stated, and my lender colleague, Honorable Delon, of recent just defined the two words, ratification and ratification. So this piece of document is here for ratification. So we cannot, it's for us to approve it. We either approve it or we leave it. That's all we can do. So when I hear people say, hey, we have to circulate it. So that's all we can do. It has been circulated in our offices before the House can pass on it because it's a financing bill, and if we are to concur, we have to concur in its entirety. If we have to reject it, we say no, then it has to go back to the form for renegotiation. So we have nothing to twist here to turn it like this. So it's here for ratification. So I just want to make that clear. It's a major corridor, John Davis Town to Israel. So that the preparation can begin as soon as October is here, and for that corridor to be paved with asphalt, and that's what in that new document. So I didn't want to.
Honorable Vice President and President of the Senate. The Senate record declared no senator against the development of Liberia, especially building roads. But I don't want to agree to the concept that because you have an instrument, in fact, the reason why we need to know and understand the foreign instrument when we are ratifying them, we need to understand the purpose for which we are ratifying this agreement. And if the road is spelled out, because let's not forget, the corridor you are making reference to, there have been a lot of ratification in terms of loan agreement. So we need to be clear. Now, I don't know whether or not in the report, I never heard that, probably I was talking to Senator Johnny, that at the 9th year from the report, when the secretary read the report, that the money is intended for that particular road corridor.
It's in there. No, she read it.
Okay. So we need to know that so that we're not ratifying, we're not duplicating ratification or loan.
She read it.
So we know tomorrow that when we ratify this money, we will concur with it. The next thing that we do, when I see John David Town, we know that we're already to a decision. That's the reason why we need to know and understand these instruments when they come before us. So we're not opposed to it. We just need to be clear on the instrument we are ratifying. Everybody has signed it. We want to make sure that all roads in Liberia are paid, so nobody opposed to it. So that's the clarification I wanted. I wanted to know which road we are ratifying, what the money is standing for. Because for instance, I saw Manor Road, So I was confused when I saw Manor Road, because Red Road, not Manor Road, I mean, most of the time we talk Manor Road, we talk about Wednesday.
Yeah, so let me just say this.
Let me say this. OPEC. Yeah, but OPEC is the organization of the trading exporting countries. So this organization has so much money that they can lend to their own self and then lend it to countries outside. So if Mount River Union has applied to the OPEX fund through the African Development Bank. That portion is sent, and then Liberia can get her share, put it back here. So when you see it, okay, I just want to make sure that we are clear for the recovery of the credit. Because tomorrow, the reason why we need to be clear on this instrument, and I fully support that, and I made the argument over and over. When we take loan, Mr. President, when we take loan, we should be clear on the purpose for which we are taking the loan. So tomorrow you can assess and evaluate whether or not those projects will deliver. And sometimes the Lord make these remarks that when you're making money, let us define what we are allocating the money for. So tomorrow when we come back, somebody say, oh, we didn't get money for chair. We'll say we get money for chair. So now we know that tomorrow we don't need money again for that particular road corridor. The road and building will know who is responsible for that. Are you, Mr. President? I therefore move.
Because we listened in recent time was former minister. He said that all the roads in this country.
It's for all of the road in this country. Now that it is clear that the money is intended for John David Town. The Ward River G. County. And given the importance that the Republic of Liberia attaches to road development, and the main fact that our people in the interior are suffering, and Monrovia are being isolated from the interior, are moved. King is second on this honorable Liberian Senate that we fully concur in totality with this very important loan agreement. So that's a powerful motion. Are you ready to vote? Yeah. Those in favor say yes. Yeah. I don't want to take care of the room. So the Spanish not living? Yeah, they want to celebrate.
Still, the committee wrongs. Act to amend Chapter 4, Section 4.1, 4.2, and 4.4 of Criminal Procedure Law, Title 2 of the Liberia Code of Laws, revised statute of limitation.
Mr. President, the Senate is still recording. We would like to make a representation as we in the last session to defer the statute of limitation debate and possible passage for tomorrow.
The floor okay with that, right?
And act to amend Title 12, Chapter 1, Part 1, Executive Law, Liberia Code of Laws, revised by creating a new subchapter E to be known as the Presidential Act for concurrence.
Always one.
Presidential Act.
So the vice chair of the Judiciary Committee is here. That's what they want to know. But it is for concurrence. It is part of the presidential bill sent from the marshal. What's the content? The content is to concur with the Presidential Act.
the presidential act. You read the report?
I see it.
Yes, the report there around more than 1 month.
Around your desk?
No, with everybody.
No, it's not you, it's not you.
It's not you.
I was putting something else.
We don't see it there.
Maybe you come to our office. Because they be both in the offices and the secretary can show you that it was signed for. Yeah. And you can show the return. So, it is for passing, it is for concurrence on the presidential act.
That bill was done all that, it was inside of the corner, it was on this floor, we talked about it, and we had to merge it, and we get like, we post that out.
They asked me so, yeah, so, having said that, I move that the Senate will concur for an act to amend Chapter 2, Chapter 12, Chapter 1, Part 1 of the Executive Law, Liberia Code of Law revised by creating a new subchapter E to be known as a Presidential Act for concurrence. Mr. President of the Senate, may I give it I think it said it is just for concurrence.
Yeah.
So let's wait tomorrow so that people can read it. That's what they will put in the chat for tomorrow. For that day today, for more so you can get alternative to the president on this law, and then when he exercises it, then he will make it to him. So let's give it time for tomorrow. Thank you. Tomorrow we will have the transitional act. And what happens in the transition after presidential?
Put it in the chat.
Yes.
What about TVET? TVET. TVET.
No, for concurrence to them. For concurrence to them.
TVET. Y'all make the motion on the TVET. Not yet. Not fine. What I talk to?
Mr. President, I'm not going to make a motion or to say something first.
So you can say something to the motion?
Yes. Yesterday, we debated the issue of the TVET bill. We made a lot of policy changes and suggestions for the bill to be cleaned up by the Judiciary Committee and be returned. So I would like for them to give us an update. Yeah. Because we don't want to stand in the way of the bill. However, there needs to be some cleaning that needs to be done. And until we can understand that they agree with the points, because it was not conclusive yesterday. For example, if the board that will be on top of the commissioner board will say, the transitional provision, how they will improve it. We just needed a little update, a brief report update from you people. Then we can now place a motion on the floor for concurrence.
Oh, okay, as you see, okay, no problem. So, yeah, as I was saying, Mr. President, we need an update and a little report from the Interim Committee concerning our points that we raised yesterday, which were very relevant. You know, we cannot be, we know we want this high, but we have to do the right thing. So we need a brief. We need a brief. I'm going to put in the chapel. We're going to put in the chapel. No, God.
Mr. President, the Senate, August and Jala will speak to him.
Those from our police were well taken. We are prepared to do the tender with them.
Okay, yeah, that'll be done.
Yeah.
So they can't be back. They get a while.
Okay. There's no they have the best of on the transition. We need to say together it's a language issue. It's not about the substantive of it.
No, it's substantive. What about the board? We're talking about board over a commission.
The board is that board is structured. It's an episode of the executive bill. All right. This is an executive bill that came for consultation to be passed. Yeah, so what I'm going to say to you, the one email we'll discuss it. It's a language issue. We'll sit down with him. We can sit down with him about the budget. It's a language issue. It's a blocking issue. It's not a substantive law issue. Okay?
So yesterday there was an argument.
Yeah.
That there was a board and there was also commissioners. We have the same problem with the special agro-food economism. The problem with it is just up and down, it's digital on everybody. They have a board and they have I think commissioners. So the argument is whether the board of commissioner are working board of commissioner or it's just a board. And so those are the discussions I think it's a major issue I have to talk about. So if the board members are commissioner, the LTA, they get appointed as any person responsible for any person responsible. If you appoint a managing director and have a board to manage them, then you have another different thing. But the poor commission, the poor, big confusion, we have some right now. With,
the reason why the board.
So can you people look at this today?
Yeah.
Look at this today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you telling me you'll be available today?
Et oui, il viendra de la conférence ou encore au conférence communale. So how much now say? So even when we return, we can handle that.
He doesn't know where.
There's a problem that we're going to go today, and we'll be on the agenda tomorrow.
Is that agreement on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Report from the Senate Committee on Internal Affairs, Ordinance of Reconciliation on the Bill and Bills. The bill and act to establish the Massapola Township, Massa Administrative District in Lofa County, Republic of Liberia. Arithmetic of the importance of the tax assignment to the committee. There was a need to ensure that we look at the proposed instrument and see as to whether the intent of the instrument is geared towards fostering peace and oneness among people of the community, district, and country as well, as well as intended to yield economic benefits for the people. In essence, the bill is intended to address the following points as outlined below. One, to foster peace and unity, to create more job opportunity for the citizens of Massapola Township. One, Hassa Administrative District in the Republic of Liberia. Considering the population density, it is very crucial to create seen into our district. The creation of the Massapola Township, Hassa Administrative District in the Republic of Liberia will promote peace and harmony among the inhabitants. Accommodation. The Committee on Internal Affairs, Good Governance and Reconciliation is therefore pleased to recommend to the plenary of the Zambia Senate that the town of Massapola be created and named as Massapola Township in Lofa County. On this 9th day of July 2025 in committee room at 13 hours. I, majority members of the committee. Report from the Senate Committee on Internal Affairs on a bill to create, establish a Kamata Township in Wakasa, Administrative District in Lofa County. The essence of the bill is outlined below to foster peace and unity, to create more jobs for the citizens of Kamata. On this 9th day of July 2025 in committee room. Members of the committee. The report from the Senate Committee on Internal Affairs, Good Governance and Reconciliation for the establishment of the Township, then here, Mohasa Administrative District in the Republic of Liberia. Some majority members of the committee. Is the President of the Senate everybody?
So you want to read all the internal affairs to the board? Yeah, come in, buddy. I'll read what you need.
Read all. You got the all of the current. You all of the current.
Report from the Senate Committee on Internal Affairs, Governance and Reconciliation, Judicial Human Rights and Petitions on the below new bills. Therefore, an act to establish the Massaville Township, Duwala Airport, Southern District Road, County. Therefore, an act to create an Annabelle City, Airport, Covington, Airport Administrative District, Road, County. Therefore, an act to create Covington City, Airport Administrative District, Road, County. Also, a report from the same committee on a bill for an act to create a township of North Zone in Way Administrative District in Tambasa County, Republic of Liberia. Therefore, an act to create a township of all Township District within District number 2, Grand Bassa County, Republic of Liberia. Therefore, an act to create a township of Lieva in Way Administrative District within Grand Bassa County, Republic of Liberia. All Township District.
Yes. I'm not for right?
Yeah.
So, why are you afraid?
After listening to the Secretary read one of these proposed bills, I move a recommendation by the different committees be endorsed and I will exercise the two votes.
It has been moved and seconded that the report be endorsed and be exercised the vote. Mr. Clerk, please call the vote.
ready to vote? Ready? Those in favor say yeah. Against?
I'm voting for we started to the department of
Yeah, seriously.
No positive.
They get to the two cities.
They wouldn't have to buy it. They wouldn't have to buy
Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.